Hey guys, Duan here. Sorry it's been a few days since my last video. I got a little bit busy. So today I want to talk about just Peace Corps Guinea's training. Every country has a training center for their Peace Corps volunteers. Sometimes it doubles as the Peace Corps compound in like the capital city. Other times it's its own separate facility. In Guinea, ours was a separate facility in Dubreka, about I don't know 20 miles outside of Conakry, and it's a small town not too far away from the coast. Very humid, very hot all throughout the year. Peace Corps Guinea's training is 3 months long. They put you in with the host family. They give you a small stipend because you're not an actual volunteer. You're still a trainee, and they teach you the host country's language, or at least the language you're going to be using the most. They try to teach you a little bit of the local languages just so you can get around, and they also send you off to your site for about a week towards the end of your training, just so you know what you're going to be where you're going to be working and who you're going to be working with. In this video, I don't want to talk too much about the training specifics, but I want to talk about just some of the things I liked about training and some of the things I didn't like about training. And then for things that require quite a few more words, I'll probably have smaller, shorter videos for those. So some of the things I liked about Peace Corps training was that you are still with other Americans, people who speak English, who understand your values, who understand like the same issues that you're going through. Everyone's having the same struggles, I guess, in adjusting to the food, adjusting to the culture, and that is immensely relieving. It's the way that you can really get through some of your toughest days in training when you're missing home, when you're missing a hot shower, good food, a lack of mosquitoes. You can turn to the nearest American and be like, hey, this is really bad. I'm having a bad day. And that other American will be like, hey, I'm having a bad day too. Let's let's find a way to get through it together and probably have a few jokes along the way. Um, so that's one thing I liked. I was constantly with the other Americans during training and learning and growing together, I suppose. Another thing that I really liked about training was uh, advancing my French level. So I took 1 year of classes at USC before going to Guinea. So my French was decent, uh, but that language training really put me over the edge. It really prepared me for teaching in French for 2 years. I know some of the other volunteers who didn't study French at all. They were able to hold conversations by the end of their training, and a lot of them, all of them were qualified to go to their site to actually start working with the expectation that they would become incredibly fluent by the end of the year. So just a few short months after training. It's intensive because you are going to classes based on your level for anywhere from 4 to 6 hours a day. Um, you're the trainers only speak French. They put you in situations like at cafes or the local university. There's an art school there where you're talking with college students who don't speak any English at all. It's all French. And it's really cool because everyone's learning French together, or at least they understand what it's like to learn French. In Guinea, people had learned French at school after their first language, and for some it was even the third or fourth language. So they understood what it was like to learn a new language, and they were incredibly helpful in making sure that we knew it too. The other thing that I really liked about training was just learning more about casual Islam. You know, when you're in America, people, or at least the news organizations, might depict only the worst elements of Islam. And so you're seeing perhaps, terrorist attacks in the Middle East, which are caused by fanatics. You're seeing things attributed to Muslims around the world, which have nothing to do with them. And you start questioning, like, well, what does an average day Muslim do? Well, they do the same thing as an average day Christian, or an average day Catholic, or an average day Buddhist. They pray, and then they go eat, they go to work, they raise their kids, they laugh, they cry, they go to the movies, they do quite a few things that normal people do. I knew there were even some that drank, a lot that smoked. They had relationship problems. the the religion wasn't like their guiding force in every single element. It was just like, oh, this is part of my identity, excuse me, but I have a lot of other things that I'm a part of too, and I have to express them all at the same time. And so that was really cool, just learning about how people express their religion and how they just want to basically be the same thing and do the same things as anyone else, just live a peaceful life and not bother other people and hopefully not get bothered in return. The things that I did not like. So, number one was probably the food. My host family, as nice as they were, prepared food only once a day, and that was around like 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And I didn't get home until 5 or 6 every day. So imagine getting home and your food's been sitting there for 3 to 5 hours, depending on how late I was, and it's rice with either fish sauce or peanut sauce. And it's by that time it's gotten cold. There were sometimes ants crawling in it. The peanut sauce had turned to peanut butter, which isn't really appetizing with soggy rice. And I was really suffering from that. I lost maybe 15, 20 pounds. Almost all the volunteers lost a quarter of their weight. One volunteer lost 40 pounds in 3 months, and that was just a huge issue. Part of the problem goes to another thing that I didn't like was that the pay that we received as Peace Corps trainees, because we weren't volunteers yet, we didn't receive the full pay. And so we got maybe a little less than 2/3 of our full pay on a per diem basis. But since we were in a larger city, it was still difficult to pay for bananas, pay for peanut butter, pay for the clothes because we were supposed to integrate into local culture. But I could only use either the cash that I brought with me or the cash that they were paying us with. So I felt like that I was constantly in a bind with money, just trying to save, trying to do what I could with it to get a gift for my host family or to clothe myself, to feed myself. And I really didn't think it was fair to get paid less just because, I'm still there like a normal Peace Corps volunteer, still living the life. And I think it would have been much more appreciated if we got a little bit more money, especially to help us with food. And the next thing that I didn't like too much was just the clothing policy. So I should have asked this before I went to Peace Corps Guinea. It was just where will we be doing the training? Will it be in a nice air-conditioned building where I can wear my shirt and slacks or something like that? And they would have been like, oh yeah, it will be, or no, it won't be, because when we got there, the training center had one air conditioner that didn't run all the time, and when it did run, it wasn't really that great at cooling down a room filled with 30 people. So we were often in classrooms or in yards where it was very, very hot, blistering hot, and no air conditioning. Some days, no breeze. And we had to wear pants and shirts. I had thicker clothes just because I expected, they would be fine in an air conditioned setting, but obviously that doesn't work out. And I really suffered from that. I got hives. I had to use baby powder to try and help out my skin a little bit. I felt that I was always flushed, that my face was just always red. Some of the volunteers had other issues. One volunteer had fainted. We were doing silly things like rolling up our pants whenever we could, throwing water on ourselves. That was just for the male volunteers. The girl volunteers, they were still getting hot, but they were wearing they could wear short dresses. So a little bit different setting. Luckily that changed 6 weeks in. My parents were able to send me nicer khakis, really thin khakis and thinner shirts, and I was able to adjust to the heat. But still, that was probably the one thing I didn't like the most. I did not like during my Peace Corps training. And finally, it's the bugs. So I had brought a lot of off because I expected to be defending myself against mosquitoes. And for those that don't know, off, you're normally supposed to just, 1 or 2 sprays and that's just when you go on a camping trip for 1 or 2 days. But this was every day I needed off in the morning, in the afternoon, in the evening, because not only were mosquitoes biting me, some host of other bugs were always around me. They were in my bathroom. They were in my house. I had to like secure my mosquito net and get inside before it got too dark and all the bugs came out. And even then, like I would wake up several times throughout the night and there would be a lizard, there would be a mouse, there would be a huge cockroach, there would be some bug that I didn't know, a giant spider, I don't know, all these different things just crawling and cricketing and clacking and chirping away basically in my room, trying to get into my mosquito net. That's what I always felt like. They were trying to get in, and it didn't matter how many times I beat against my net to get them off. It seemed like they were replaced by something else. That was really really tough. The only thing I would recommend there is perhaps getting one of those blindfolds and earmuffs, so then you don't have to hear them and you don't have to see them, and just bringing a ton of off. So those are just a few of the things that I liked and did not like about training. I'm going to go into a little bit more depth about a few of those things, especially about the site visit and some of the group trips. So I'm going to get those videos out as soon as possible. Okay, guys? Thanks so much. Bye.